On the first weekend of April, Paris was immersed in the gentle spring colors and was more bustling than ever with the Landcon 7 event, which gathered thousands of fans from all over the world. But the highlight of this year's event was the full appearance of the Outlander cast, the hit historical TV series that has entered its 8th season and left a deep impression on the hearts of global audiences. Sam Heughan, Katrina Balfe, Sophie Skelton, Richard Rankin, and John Bell were present early backstage, immersing themselves in the rare, intimate and close atmosphere between the stars and fans. But few people know that behind the grand stage, it was the everyday moments and simple yet heartwarming stories that made this Landcon so special. Sam Heughan and the boy in the red cloak. As Sam walked into the signing booth, he saw a boy of about 10, wearing a hand-sewn red cloak, clutching a copy of the novel Dragonfly in Amber. The boy, named Louis, from Toulouse, was mildly autistic and rarely showed emotion. His mother said Louis only smiled when he watched Outlander, especially when Jamie Fraser was coaxing his daughter. Sam sat down at eye level with the boy, held out his hand and asked quietly, "Are you the little warrior from 1745? The boy nodded slightly, his eyes shining. Sam took off the tartan pin he was wearing, put it on Louis's shirt and said, "You are now the honorary Fraser of Lollybrook. Be brave in defending your mother." The mother burst into tears. Louis smiled, for the first time in days. That moment went viral on social media overnight, with thousands of shares. Sam is not just an actor, he is hope in the flesh. Katrina Balfe and the handwritten letter from 2015. During the QA session, a young fan stepped onto the stage to ask a question, her hand shaking as she held a discolored piece of paper. "Katrina, in 2015 I sent you a letter when I lost my mother to cancer. I never thought you would read it. But if you did, I just wanted to say, thank you for giving me a reason to live." Katrina was silent for a moment, then suddenly took out a stack of laminated papers from her bag. "Is this the letter?" The audience fell silent. The fan burst into tears. "I keep all the handwritten letters I sent to the studio. And your letter is one of the things that kept me from quitting this profession when I was most desperate." Number more words needed. The two embraced amid thunderous applause from the entire hall. Richard Rankin and the traditional tartan. During the fan-made culinary exchange at Landcon, a French-Scottish family brought a unique tartan, the signature color of the Mackenzie family recreated with a meticulously thin layer of icing. Knowing that Richard, who plays Roger Mackenzie, would be there, they prepared a special portion for him. When invited onto the stage, Richard was surprised. "I didn't expect anyone to remember the color of the Mackenzie family tartan. This cake is so similar that I feel like my mother is baking it in the kitchen in Glasgow." He bowed his head, clasped his hands in thanks in French. "Merci de ramener l'Écosse à Paris." "Thank you for bringing Scotland to Paris." The audience applauded, and Richard quietly nibbled on a piece of cake, his eyes filled with homesickness. John Bell and the cancer survivor, an elderly audience member, Elise, came to Landcon after a 7-year battle with leukemia. Her daughter said that Outlander, especially John Bell's character young Ian, was a great source of encouragement for her mother. "Ian is proof that deep wounds can be healed with loyalty and resilience." When John Bell heard the news, he said nothing. He gently sat down next to Elise, took off the handmade bracelet he had been wearing since season 5, and put it on her wrist. "I wore this bracelet when I filmed the scene where Ian lost his best cousin. Now I give it to you, a true warrior." Elise broke down in tears. The crowd rose to their feet, giving both of them the longest standing ovation of the day. Moment of silence. At the end of the day, the MC asked the entire audience and cast to stand up and give 30 seconds of silence for the Outlander fans who could not be there, due to illness, age, or other reasons. The whole hall was silent. Some people burst into tears. Sam and Katrina held each other tightly, their eyes silently looking down at the audience. When the moment ended, Sam said, "We can act, we can create beautiful scenes. But it is you, the silent companions, who are the reason why Outlander becomes a living legend." When the event ended, Paris fell into a quiet night, but the hearts of the attendees were still bright with what they had witnessed. Landcon 7 was not just a fan meeting, but a place where humanity, memories and gratitude intersected between the stars and thousands of loving hearts. Outlander may be a time-traveling story, but those moments in Paris that year are what make time stop, just to forever record very real, very human emotions.